Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society organization with the mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo with Chidozie Ogbonnaya.
Welcome to the program.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government attention for democratic actions against it. We also promote integrity by focusing on rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals in the course of their normal activities. The MacArthur Foundation supports the production of this program.
Today we will be x-raying the 2021 constituency and executive project tracking exercise carried out by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Related Offences Commission, ICPC.
The tracking of constituency and executive projects is an initiative of the Commission that began in 2019, focusing on how well money allocated to critical sectors of education, health, agriculture, water resources, and power, amongst others, by the government are utilized. According to ICPC, the first phase of the exercise was held in 2019 in 12 states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and saw the tracking of 524 projects. The second phase took place in 2020, where about 822 projects were tracked in 16 states.
And it is necessary to mention that assets and equipment worth billions of naira were recovered and returned to the government and the people as a result of the tracking. Hence, over 200 contractors were said to have returned to sites to complete projects they abandoned or projects they executed shabbily since the ICPC started the tracking of constituency projects in Nigeria.
In 2021, constituency project tracking, the story is not different from what it used to be. A peep into ICPC's 2021 constituency project tracking revealed that it was partly marred by unholy collusion between contractors and some legislators. Procurement fraud, poorly executed and abandoned projects were also part of the revelations. You will get the details of the 2021 constituency project tracking exercise by ICPC officials as we progress with the program. But first, as a citizen, what do you know about constituency projects in your community or neighborhood? Have you ever tried to ask questions or follow up on a constituency project near you? And do you know that constituency projects are not funded by lawmakers, but the federal government?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages in the course of the conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 09022656167, and that is 09022656167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This number is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 0902-265-6167. We will give you the numbers to call shortly.
Zonal Intervention Project, ZIP, which is popularly called Constituency Project, came to being after Nigeria's return to democracy in 1999, championed by the lawmakers to ensure that development spread to every nook and cranny of Nigeria.
But over the years, constituency projects have been characterized by the allocation of huge amounts of money that have little or no sustainable impact on the communities. These glaring breaches succeeded in making the initiative to be regarded as one of the most notorious corrupt schemes since the return of democracy in 1999.
ICPC's initiative to track constituency and executive projects has proven to be yielding dividends, given the need to see that allocated funds are put to the best use. At PRIMOG, we are also bothered about the mismanagement of constituency project funds. We are on the verge of engaging with citizens and members of the National Assembly to change the ugly trend.
And joining us in the studio to shed more light on the outcome of the third phase of constituency and executive project tracking exercise is ICPC spokesperson Azuka Okugwa. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Adobe.
We also have in the studio the Assistant Commissioner, Constituency Project and Executive Project Tracking of the Commission, Jimo Sulaiman. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. You're welcome.
Okay, we'll start today's conversation first with Azuka Okugwa. Could you give us an overview of the Commission's third phase of tracking of constituency project, and what are some of the major takeaways this time?
Thank you very much. Like you have already said, we tracked in 2009, started in 2019, and we started with 424 projects. Then in 2020, we tracked about 722 projects in all. 2021, we earmarked 1,200 projects or thereabouts for tracking, but we succeeded in tracking 1,093 projects. That's one of the major differences. We tracked so much more than we have tracked in the other years. There's more awareness about it, not just among the legislators, but among Nigerians, that there is such a thing like constituency projects. So when the communities see a tracking team, they are excited, they're happy to work with such tracking teams. And I mean, from the awareness raised in 2019, 2020, some of the exercises we tracked, some of the projects we tracked were actually based on petitions from the communities. They now wrote that they want to know what is going on. So now 2021 constituency project tracking was more involving. The communities were more involved, people were more interested and monitoring and giving us updates and giving us support on what was going down with the constituency projects. Remember that we had included executive projects.
So it's not just ZIPs.
It's not just zonal intervention projects, but also executive, which are capital projects of MDAs. And this time around, one major difference was that in the past 2 years before now, we had tracked projects with a benchmark of 100 million naira, which had the unintended consequence of making us track only projects from the Senate and not the high. So this time we reduced the
What's the threshold?
And we came down to 10 million.
So it included projects executed, nominated by both the Senate and House of Reps.
And this time we worked in 16 states and the FCT. So we have effectively in this entire tracking exercise covered the entire country, but for 2 states. We have not tracked in Borno and Zamfara for the obvious reasons of security, But we even went outside some of the states we were supposed to have tracked because of intelligence and because of petitions. So this time there were more involvement, more engagement with the community. There was so much more going on, more monitoring of the implementation. 2021 was a year that showed that there was more need for the community involvement. The community involvement, the involvement of even the MDAs themselves, the awareness of the legislators being raised because sometimes they were not even aware. They just nominated a project. Now we're telling them, you nominate this project, see it to completion. So everybody was aware, on their toes, to make sure that they delivered. At least we had more awareness, increased participation, increased willingness to help, and in our tracking exercise, we saw increased number of completed projects, unlike other years. So these are the major takeaways from the 2021 project. Of course, let's just...
It's good that we have these positives coming from your tracking, but we'll get to the field marshal, the man on the field. Jimo, you were there, how they're doing all you can to change the narrative. ICPC has been on the initiative of tracking constituency projects since 2019. We've established that. But how will you rate the third phase of the exercise in terms of success? And are there ways the ICPC can improve in the tracking exercise?
Like Mrs. Azuka said, it was a success all through. You see, when you go to the field and the communities, the MDAs, and even the sponsors themselves, they are coming to meet you, unlike in the past where we were the one looking for them to show us where projects were. Now, there is a kind of a cross petition. The sponsor of a project will write petition to ICPC. The MDA will write petition to ICPC on what has happened or what has not happened. Even the contractors themselves, they write to us for us to come and see what has happened, such that we'll be able to help them in terms of making them to be able to complete the project. So it's also when you go to the field and you track almost more than 1,000 projects, and over 800 of these projects are completed projects. You can say kudos.
I'm a bit curious here.
Okay.
Are there projects that you can say, this is an example, we discovered that this person took away this and we recovered this? Like, we want to hear the recoveries. We want to hear the what you've done about it, who just the recoveries.
Okay, when you talk about recoveries, yes, there are so many. We recover so much in 2023. I think our total 2021 rather. Our total recovery in terms of cash is 653 million naira.
653 million.
Yes, that was what we recover on projects that were shoddily done or that were not done at all. Aside from that, again, we compel contractors to go back to site to go and complete projects that they have abandoned for months. 2 weeks ago, after we have even completed this report, we still asked some contractors to go back to site, 18 sites, on a project worth 1.3 billion. So I think, to me, we are successful. It's a success story that we are going to tell. Then again, if you now want us to tell the people at home the infractions we encounter,
yes,
they are there. We still have the perennial abuse of office. You see a sponsor who embedded a project in an MDA, and you now link a contract or a contractor executing the same project. Either you link it to him, to his wife or children. So these are one of the issues.
But before you proceed, are legislators constitutionally expected to nominate contractors to execute projects?
No, that would be against the Procurement Act 2007. What they are supposed to do is to nominate projects. They shouldn't have anything to do with the procurement process. But as we were tracking, you can see the hands of sponsors in probably selection of those contractors.
Just let me clarify that these projects are domiciled in MDAs. So it's the MDAs that are supposed to execute the implementation of the selection of the contractors, but they end up just giving it, in some cases, giving it back to the sponsors to execute, or their cronies or their families. So it just ends up being an abuse of that office.
But Madam Azuka, what could be the enticement of you taking back what you're supposed to execute to the sponsors? What could be fueling that
MDAs
act
are supposed
of
to implement?
Yes,
they shouldn't. The contractors should not be linked to the legislators.
Well, that is why we raised the red flag, and that is the infraction there that we discovered, and that is why some of them are being made to either return the funds that were used for those projects or to go back, because the ultimate goal of these projects is to make sure that these projects are delivered to the grassroots. So there are different ways we handle it, but if it is a situation of abuse of office, there might be enforcement, there might be sanctions.
Okay. Jimmy, please go ahead.
Yeah. One other infraction that we encountered was round tripping of project items. It has been consistent. You put
Explain, please.
round
okay,
treatment.
round tripping.
Okay.
A sponsor put a project in one MDA this year, and it is funded. The contractor supplies the project, especially empowerment items. Instead of the project to be distributed to beneficiaries, it will be kept. The following year, same type of project will be embedded in another MDA. It will be funded. So it is one of the two that will eventually be distributed. The other one, either the latest one, the contractor and the sponsor know what they do. But when we find that, we usually make them return the money to government covers. There's another one that we encounter. A project, one single project was intended to be done, but the sponsor put it in two MDA, two separate MDAs. That happened in Bauchi, two separate MDAs.
Sort of duplication.
Duplication. So it was the same contractor that got the two contracts using different companies. Okay? Now, the contractor will go and execute the project. He will call officials of MDA 1 to come and see what he has done. Supervisors to come and see what he has done. They will go, they'll say, okay, yeah, you have done well. They will advance him more money. The following week, the same contractor will go to MDA 2, inviting the supervisors, project supervisors, to come and see what has happened. And they will also advance him money. Eventually, the project was commissioned. He tricked both MDAs until, by intelligence, we got what was happening. We invited everybody. We invited the contractor for project A. We invited the contractor
Same
for
contractor.
We feigned ignorance until we got to the site. We invited the both MDAs. It nearly caused a problem. Both officials of the two MDAs nearly fought themselves. So, I came to supervise this project. The other one will say, I came to supervise this project. Okay. Who are your community contacts? They also brought different community contacts rather. So eventually we knew what happened, that okay, it was only one project that was intended to be done. And they collected money from two MDAs. So we recovered the money.
But shouldn't this have been noticed, have been issue? You know, we talk about budget padding and all that. I think that is a clear example of padding. But how do we ensure that contractors or legislators or projects are not domiciled, but the same project are not domiciled in two different MDAs?
I think there's little we can do in that regard. It is not under our purview. It is when they are preparing the budget. It is the legislators that have such a power to prepare budget. We are still having issues with regard to budget padding or no budget. Anything that when it has been signed by the federal government, nobody can alter it. It has become law. Unless if we do sensitization engagement with these things are not right, are not real. That is when we can say, okay, we have achieved.
But again, on this particular project, is it the same legislator that nominated the two projects?
That's what I was telling you.
It's unfortunate that our hands are tied and we cannot separate the MDAs and the legislators from this breach. And it's unfortunate. But
this breach, I think the MDAs, from our investigation, the two MDAs were tricked. It was even one of the MDAs when the project was commissioned, maybe a week. One MDA, the following MDA, now went. Somebody now said this project was commissioned last week. So that was when one of the MDAs wrote a petition and asked us to come and please see what is happening, whether they were funding ghost projects. So it was from an MDA. So the two MDAs were fooled by the contractors and possibly the sponsors.
It's good that ICPC was able to intervene and recover public funds. Okay, let's quickly get to Madam Azuka again. You initially talked about citizens' awareness. How can we more emphasize on citizens' awareness, and what is ICPC doing to increase the public knowledge of constituency projects, their execution, and the role of the citizens?
Thank you for that question, Adobe. Well, we are continuing what we've been doing on our project. We had a campaign called My Constituency, My Project. It was a grassroots campaign. We started it in 2020 and then stopped it because of the COVID. But we are continuing that campaign to still raise awareness. You know, there are different ways of raising awareness. One of the ways is the actual tracking exercise. But another way is to put it out there in the public. There is a lot of publicity around constituency projects now. And in everything we do, we let people know. You can call ICPC to find out constituency projects nominated from the Federal National Assembly at the national level to your communities. We give them our toll-free numbers, which is 0800 call ICPC. 0800 is 12 digits, 2255-4272. 2255-4272. You know, we give them this number. Call and find out the constituency projects nominated to your own community, and you can monitor it and make a call. Like I said earlier, it's not only the constituency projects that they originally selected. There were constituency projects that arose out of petitions from the community. So we raise awareness on social media, we raise awareness on our television program, we raise awareness everywhere we go that your constituency projects are your projects from government, and you should monitor it and make sure it is delivered. Unfortunately, many of the constituency projects are soft projects, so people can't really see a location. They are not seeing a road or a borehole to look at. They are distribution of items.
Empowerment programs. Even now, medical outreaches. And these are things that they will tell you it has been done. And ICPC will call some of the people that were supposedly empowered or trained, and they will say, sorry, I don't know what you are talking about. They are soft projects. So when you tell a person this project is nominated to your place, they are struggling to find, oh, it must have been done maybe over the Christmas holiday or Salah holiday, but we were not involved. And they'll say, okay, you were not involved, some other people were involved. So, but do they have a list of beneficiaries of this project?
They do. And it is from that list we do some random sampling to call, to confirm. Because now some MDAs are very, very careful these days. And when they want to do this distribution of these soft projects, they call us. It is domiciled within their MDA, and they don't want to get into trouble. So they call ICPC. ICPC, there is a constituency project for this location, we want to go and deliver it. It's soft, so it has to be done in a day or two. After that, everybody goes and we have records. So they call us to make sure that we monitor and see that they implement fully. But sometimes they don't call us. Then you now see that 10 million naira was spent on materials or capacity building, and all you have is a list of participants. So you have to call the participants. Random sampling. Were you in this program, or did you get the benefit of this equipment or something? And then we find out that some of them don't even know what we're talking about.
At that point, is it enough for you to take any action, Madam Azuka?
Yes, we do take action. You know, empowerment project, we call it fluid or soft project. They are very, very difficult to track. But because of the competence that the ICPC has built in us, we still have a way of getting around and tracking them. We have recovered a huge sum of money from either the contractors or the legislators that are involved. Let me give you an example. In Osun State, that's my state, a project, agricultural empowerment, to train people how to rear cows, then to now give them cows to rear. For how long will you be able to train an individual who has never had experience in training in rearing? So the first part was done 5 or 7 days. But the second part, which is giving them 5 cows, the cows were supplied by the MDA. but we couldn't find the cow. We invited those who are said to have collected the cows, those who are said to have benefited. We did random sampling, and we discovered that yes, they say yeah, beautiful, they got trained, but the cow, sorry, they were not given the cow. So we invited the agency. Where are the cows? They said they supplied the cows to the sponsors. Okay, no problem. We move on again to the sponsors. Where are the cows? We found the cows in his ranch.
Oh.
So, what are you doing with these cows? He said he was rearing them for. So we had to now seize and bond them. So these are the issues we usually encounter. So sometimes if it is what we can recover money on, we quickly recover such funds.
So if it's not tangible, it makes it difficult for you to...
Like cow now. We just say, okay, we bond the cow to him. He's still taking care of it. ICP is going to decide whether they are going to recover those cows and give to those people. If those cows are recovered and give to the beneficiaries, of what use? Can you rear a cow?
That means ab initio there was no needs assessment.
No needs assessment in that regard.
Okay, another example of a free project is this medical outreaches. Some medical outreaches were supposedly done, and when we got there, we found that they were really not done. So we've compelled them. I mean, the communities do need such outreaches, and we compel them to go back to those communities. And now we are monitoring, we are watching, we are physically present to watch you, bring the doctors, bring the nurses, do the surgeries, because there are some minor surgeries, maybe like cataract and hernia and all those things. We now monitored it to ensure that the communities get the benefit of such medical outreaches. So fluid projects, you can actually eventually get the sponsors to implement them to your satisfaction, to make sure that it's worth the money that was voted for it. You don't just take 2 people to hospital and say you have done a medical outreach. No, the money voted has to be commensurate with what you do. And ICPC, right now, I don't know whether it has ended, but just as recent as 2 weeks ago, our officers were on the field monitoring the implementation of medical outreaches.
We are still on it.
We're still on it.
That's a good way to go about it.
It's time for us to get the person listening at the other end of the dial to join the conversation.
But I must remind you to follow us on our social media platform at Official Prime.
Remember that the program is interactive. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902 265 6167. 0902 265 6167. This number is for messages only. How would you react to the conversation? As a citizen, what do you know about the constituency project in your community? Are you aware? Have you ever tried to ask questions or follow up on a constituency project near you? And do you know that constituency projects are not funded by senators or members of House of Representatives, but by the federal government? We have a call.
All right.
Hello. In your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Ayuba Yusuf. I'm actually calling from Abuja here.
Okay, Yusuf, let's hear you.
Okay. I want to thank you for the program you came up with today. And for me, I want to find out something. Have you guys gone as far as Cross River to inspect those projects you guys are talking about? Have you guys gone as far as Cross River State? Why I'm asking is because I don't think there is anything tangible on ground. I'm actually from the North Central, but I was
Please, you have 30 seconds to round up.
And I want to say it clear that the president I don't know in Cross River State, out of the 18 local government of course, there is no place, I don't know, I'm from the North East, there is no place I don't know in that place, and I stand to be corrected and I stand to challenge the gentleman in the studio. When notes is going down, that project like he just did, that he should let me know I'll be on the ground for him to show me one.
Okay.
Calabar municipality, and I can show me one.
Okay, Yusuf, could you send a text to 090-0809 40,072? Would follow up on that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yusuf. ICPC, have you been to Cross River? Hello? Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Patrick. I'm calling from Dublin.
Patrick, let's hear you.
Yeah, please, I've been listening to the program, but I don't know, I want to know the criteria, between they give all these contracts to these communities. And do they give it, based on need of particular contract or what?
Okay, thank you
Keep
so
listening.
much. Keep listening. Our guest in the studio would respond to the questions you have all asked. I have another text message here from Taiwo, and it says, thank you for always creating the platform for citizens to be informed and contribute their perspective. We want to appreciate the ICPC for the effort so far, but I want them to improve in their tracking and follow-up on abandoned executive projects scattered around the FCT, as well as the inequalities in the allocation of projects, especially in the rural areas. Lastly, Peggy resettlement layout is not carried along with the level of investigation and completion of a decade-long 14-kilometer Peggy Dafara Road. Nigeria will be great again. Thank you for your message. Keep them coming. And those watching on Facebook at Official Primorg, you can also drop a few lines and we will take your messages. The numbers again are 090-30,899, 080-998-770, and 0809-40,072. Mr. Jimu,
No.
would you want to respond to some of the issues raised?
Okay, I think the first one about Cross River State.
Yes.
We were in Cross River, I think, during the second phase of the tracking exercise. If my memory serves me well, there were issues with regard to some projects that were completed but not being put to use, especially local markets in the rural areas,
Right.
such that we invited the MDA, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and they said yes, they have executed their own part of the deal, they have executed the project, but the community, the sponsor rather, has not deemed it fit to come and allow them to hand over the projects to the community. So I can remember very vividly that we were in Cross River. However, we are going to the sites in the next 2 weeks again. We have selected Cross River as one of the focal states. When we get there, I will discuss that.
Let me take you back a little. You said that the project completed, but the sponsor is yet to allow them handover
to the local community. Usually, these sponsors are politicians. They want to have a kind of
ceremony or what?
Or a kind of ceremony that, okay, this is what they have. Initially, people believe that it is their money. It is now that we are coming that the people are now knowing that, okay, it is government money. So they still want to gain a kind of mileage with regard to, okay, I embedded this project, I'm going to hand over the projects to the...
I'm thinking that ICPC should, or government should look into this seriously, because you can't complete a project for 5 months, 6 months, and somebody is keeping the project, is not working, people are not utilizing the facility just because of political gain.
If it were to be items for distribution, we will have just gone in and said, okay, go and distribute this item, or we distribute ourselves. But it's a building, a market, and whatever, so there's nothing you can distribute in that regard other than to compel the sponsor and the MDA to go and hand it over to the community that will use them.
Let me just add here
Okay.
briefly that it's not in all the communities. So if there might be a constituency project in a community and you're not aware of it, it might not be if it's not in your own community. So constituency projects are not like every community has a constituency project. It doesn't always happen that way. That's why they might not be aware.
Okay.
Actually, this is a good development because we want citizens to be part of this whole tracking exercise. So we'll be happy to have him on the team.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Eugenia from Edo.
Okay, let's hear you, Seni.
I heard you say you receive cow and money. I don't really get the story. So I just came midway.
Okay, thank you so much. Just keep listening. We are discussing, we have officials from the ICPC and we are taking a look at the 2021 Constituency and Executive Project tracked by the Commission. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm from Akwa Ibom State.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, according to constituency project, the senator representing Ikore Benin Senatorial District in Akwa Ibom State. I've not seen any constituency project in my local government, especially. So I want to know whether you people are tracking that very particular side of the state, Ikore Benin Senatorial District.
Oh,
Thank you
okay.
so much. Ikodekpene, have you been there? It's good that we're having this discussion
we
on
have
citizens.
been there. Like I said, we have been in all the states of Nigeria except Borno and Zamfara states. So we would have been there. But like you asked the first caller, Yusuf,
To send us a
he
text.
can also send a text and we'll take his complaints or we'll talk with him later. We'll liaise with him to get to his community. Because many people don't know, but he can call the ICPC toll-free number, even right now, and find out the projects voted to his community or to his senatorial district, and we'll give it to him.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's called The Only Route to Finding Such Things Out. Or do you have a website where people go and click and get
Oh
the
yes,
list?
we do. We have our website www.icpc.gov.ng. You can send a complaint there. There's a template to fill a form, or you can send an email to info@icpc.gov.ng. And most importantly, you can also use our social media handles. Send a complaint. We'll get back to you at ICPC Nigeria on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram, and at ICPC_PE on Twitter. If you say anything, if you make a comment, we'll reach out to you and find out more and give you more information. It's better you are informed, and we are ready with information so you can help us track the projects.
Okay. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Tom Shinen. I'm calling from Gwabolada.
Let's hear you.
Okay, yes. Actually, I really like this program because it's bringing a lot of awareness, things that people know they can do, but they don't know earlier. My suggestion is that the ICPC also should, because since they said it's the federal government that will release money for the constituency project, what I want is that anytime there is a budget has been passed, there should be like an information to all states, sending it in a public information to people that this is the constituency project that are captured in the project, in the budget. And again, anytime Federal Ministry of Finance releases funds for such, at least 2 months or 1 month after the release, it should be again sent to those constituencies. Let the public know that okay, the money has been released for this purpose. Even in that their website, they can put anytime they can analyze with the Federal Ministry of Finance. Anytime fund is released for a particular constituency project, they can put it on that website. Citizens can go there. Okay, they have released money for this project in my constituency. They will go and find out, verify, and if the project is there, people will keep quiet. But if there is no there, they can be able to inform the ICPC or even challenge the people, even if they cannot go to court. They can challenge them publicly, and people can use it as that if it is not been done, it can be when the people, community can even help ICPC.
Okay, thank you so much. ICPC, you have a lot of work to do from his own suggestion.
Okay, can I also mention here, because I think I've omitted that this list of constituency projects is on our website. At least I'm sure we have up to 2021 list of, so we let you know when you call, but you can also go on our website and check under constituency projects, and you get a list of all the constituency projects. Now the problem is that not all of them may be funded. We only track those that are fully funded. So when you see a constituency project on the list, it does not mean it is funded. But when we are selecting those for tracking, we go for those that we are funded, because if they were not funded, then that means there wasn't even any money for it to execute the first instance.
Okay.
So that information is noted, that is suggestion, and I think we'll take it up. He is advising a better way of getting citizens involved. And that is very important. And I will make sure that when we get back, we'll start implementing that immediately.
Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm sorry, I'm the one that called. The network here is very bad. So I want to get the ICPC number.
Okay, 0800-2255-4272, or you can send a text message to 0902-265-6167. Jimo, the next question will be directed at you. You know our politicians are very smart and they want to compensate their followers. We have seen situations where during empowerment programs or training capacity building by legislators, they use it as an avenue to compensate their followers in their constituents. Have you been able to track such?
You see, when we talk about empowerment programs or empowerment projects, it is usually for the constituents. You can say maybe that somebody belongs to party A or party B. What we want to see is that, okay, are these projects or are these items distributed to people?
So the selection process is not a challenge.
So far as there are people in that community, there's nothing you can do in that regard.
Absolutely. To know is to be able. Yes. If you don't know, you can't be able to do anything. But Jimo, let me come to you. Okay. A certain senator was adjudged the best constituency project. His constituency, a project he sponsored was adjudged the best executed to your specification in one article I read. What are you doing to encourage this type of act? Because I can mention the senator's name, but I believe you know the senator I'm talking about.
That mentioning him by ICPC, singling him out, is an encouragement for others to do well. You know, when we started tracking, we have some bad cases and we have some cases that are not so bad. So the following tracking exercise we did, our Honorable Chairman said, yes, when we call out those who have not done well, why don't we also say something about those who have done well? That was why we started, when we value your project, we call professionals to come and check your project, and your project is okay and beautiful, or beautifully done. Then we'll pick you up and say that these projects are okay. Mentioning such projects, I think the Senate or the honorable members whose names were mentioned, they were so happy. And all others who want their project to also go in that line, so that they will be mentioned.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Dominic. I'm calling from London.
From London. Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm going to speak under the auspices of ASA Agenda Development Worldwide. There are things we are trying to put in place because we do not want to be deceived again from ASA land. And what the template we are putting in place, if it's good, we will buy every other constituencies to follow that. What is it? One, we want to know all the senators, all the National Assembly members from our constituencies who have served us for 4 years, 8 years, depending on the case.
to write out whatsoever they have done, then tell us how much they have been given so that we benchmark it with what they have done and what has not been done. We understand that government is continuous, so we should be able to, benchmark them as to whether or not they have done well or they have not. But that is not the main thing. In benchmarking them, we're not going to use any other thing. We're still going to use benchmark them with number of policies or law they have already enacted, because that is their primary purpose. Some are just there doing a kind of recatering. They are just there doing a kind of selling out.
Okay, please, can you wrap up in 30 seconds because our time is almost up, please.
What we're trying to do is that, one, we have mentioned it. Some are just there, they are not doing anything, warming the bench, they are not making law, they are not promulgating any law, and we are suffering, the masses are suffering. Two, they should try as much as possible to collate all they have done, because we want to, call result now. Because based on what you have done, what we're going to use in deep. If you have not done.
Okay, thank you so much. We have more calls coming in, but unfortunately, we may not be able to take that because of our time. But before we wrap up, just a parting shot from Madam Azuka. What would you say to that person listening to you at the moment?
Okay, my parting shot to Nigerians is don't sit on the fence, don't be passive, be involved in governance, make that call to ICPC to find out the constituency projects voted to your community. And to respond to the last speaker, these legislators, they are not giving the money. They are not giving the money. The money, they sponsor these projects, they nominate these projects to their constituencies. So they are not giving the money, and the projects are almost always funded. I've been notified. So find out the projects, call and find out the projects in your community, in your local government, and then you can follow up. And then you can also meet your legislators and be part of, express your needs so they can put it in their sponsorships. Your needs, until you say what your needs are, they might not be able to nominate it.
Okay. Mr. Jimo, when are you going back for tracking? The fourth phase?
Yes,
in 30 seconds.
It may not be fourth phase now.
Okay.
What we are doing is a special tracking we want to do now by the next 2 weeks. We call it executive project tracking. We want to concentrate on the executive project tracking for this first quarter, and we have selected projects, about 600 projects we are going to concentrate on in 18 states of the federation.
Okay. We say good luck with that, Mr.
Thank you so much. We really must round up, Jose.
All right. Please visit the news page of our website, primognews.org, and that is primognews.org. For all the details of our report and interviews, visit our website, primog.org, to get all the information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guest, the ICPC spokesperson Azuka Okugwa. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And the Assistant Commissioner, Constituency and Executive Project Tracking of the Commission, Jimo Sulaiman, for joining us. Thank you. Public Conscience has the support of the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, vibrant and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience, and remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Official Primog. I am Chidozie Ogbonnaya.
And remember that birth registration and birth certificates are both free if your child is under the age of 18. Help stop the corruption in birth registration. And do not pay for birth certificates. And remember that you can give us information or hints about corrupt acts through our phone 0902 265 6167 or info@primorg.org. I am Adaobi Obiabumo. Stay safe.